Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Friday Night Live show number 11. Show number 11, wow. And sorry, we're a few minutes behind. It happens, that's the way things go some nights, but we're here close enough to 10 on the button. I have what I can only describe as probably the most superbly packed show of wonderful guests this week. I can't recommend them high enough, and I'm a fan of most of these people that are on this week, and I'm also just an avid follower of their music, and I've been listening to it for a long time. All of these people, of course, I'm talking about is Colin Devlin of the Devlins, Leslie Dowdle in Tuanua. What more can we say? Absolutely amazing. Louise Morrissey in Tipperary here next door to me. Wonderful country singer. And then we have somebody new for you tonight, Caitlin Gemma. And I was talking to her, and I've got to get that right, in the States. She's coming in. And then we have General Isimo, Brian Franco, doing our poetry section later on around midnight. So it's going to be a great show. Everything's shaped up. We were doing sound checks there for the last hour or so, and it's been great fun talking to everybody before they go live with me. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome you all to the show here from Sunroom Studios, our lovely studios in County Limerick, which is basically the Sunroom, okay? But I hope you like the set. We're using a new set with all our nice little sort of planets kind of style balls hanging down behind, and the lights and stuff. We decided to go a little bit brighter here. So I'm going to kick off, of course, with my special guest tonight, which is none other than yours truly, Mundy. And I picked a video during the week because I just like it. It was one of himself playing To You I Bestow live down in Wexford, and it's just wonderful. The version and the video, I love everything the way he does it. So let's enjoy this first before we have a chat with the man himself.
Well, you may not see me when you come back. I could be sharing someone else's pillow. My love for you is better than diamonds. To you, everything I bestow. And tomorrow I'll be dancing on my own, and I'll need a kiss for my head that's aching. I'll be a hungry dog without a bone. I hope my place with you's not vacant. Kiss me and tell me it's not broken. Kiss me and kiss me till I'm dead. And I'd give you the stars from the bruised evening sky, and a crown of jewels for your head. For your head now. For your head now. For your head now. One last night in bed for a time. Two more wishes and both are for thine. And three guesses you're the angel's child. Four hopes this love's not boiled. Yeah. Oh, kiss me and tell me it's not broken. Kiss me till I'm dead. I'd give you the stars from the bruised evening sky, and a crown of jewels for your head. For your head now. For your head now. For your head now. And if you come back, I'll take you to the garden, and we'll dance to an orchestra on the lawn. And we'll roll in the foggy dew and dance with the ghosts upon the dawn, and on the dawn, and on the dawn. And you kiss me, tell me it's not broken. Kiss me and kiss me till I'm dead. And I give you the stars from the bruised evening sky, and a crown of jewels for your, and a crown of jewels for your, and a crown of jewels for your head now. For your head now for your hand
Wow, wow, wow. What a tune. What a tune. And the way that was delivered, like, I don't know, it's just mind blowing. The finger style that Mundy has along with the strum. That's what I love. It's both. It's a bit of both. So without further ado, guys, welcome to Friday Night Live and welcome to the man himself. Mundy, how are you keeping?
Grand. Where
Listen,
where does one find such footage? I can't even find footage of myself like that.
I do a lot of looking around. I do a lot of looking around during the week, and I try to find something a little different, a little off the beaten track. We could just stick on the single or stick on something that was big and the usual, whatever. But I'm sure you're used to hearing that stuff all the time.
Yeah, well, it's weird. I just, as a flashback, I only know because of the necklace I'm wearing. There's a strawberry on it, and my album Strawberry Blood probably had just come out, and my first daughter was born. So I reckon that video was from about 2009, 2010.
You're on the ball, yeah.
And it was outside one of the hotels there across the bridge in Wexford. And I think I told the young lad who filmed it that I'd be up for doing a video in the morning, thinking that I was going to be going to bed early that night. And I remember he was in the hotel lobby waiting for me. I was like, dude, like, so I'm singing the song down a whole two steps.
That's what I wanted to ask. Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you. What's the tuning? What is that tuning?
That's just a standard tuning, but I've brought it. It's usually it would be an F sharp minor, but I brought it back to E minor.
Okay, so the whole guitar is tuned down. It's down a whole.
Oh no, it's not. It's not. It's just I'm actually playing it down a step from what the original key is.
From what you normally do. Okay, it sounds kind of open.
Yeah.
It
does. Well, it's because it's in E. I suppose you can make it sound open with
resonation there.
Yeah. But I do a version of it now in open D. That's really nice, and it's.
I've heard you doing that. I've heard that, and it's really cool. And that's why I thought when I saw that, that's why I picked it actually, because I thought, what's he doing now? What's this tuning? What's going on here? But listen, speaking of that song,
from getting bored.
Speaking of To You I Bestow, I mean, look, let's get straight to it. Featured on Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet. Did you ever think in your wildest dreams that one of your tracks would end up on a movie like that? Because that's pretty amazing. That's pretty cool.
I didn't even know what a movie like that was, to be honest. I was aware of Strictly Ballroom, but I mean, what happens is when you get, you kind of, you'd ring up the record label and say, is any news, did you get me into anything? And they're like, there's a bit of interest around such a song to get into such a movie. And then I think you kind of more or less have signed up for it before you know whether it's going to be successful or not. So, I mean, when you hear Leonardo DiCaprio's name being mentioned, of course, you're kind of like, okay, well, this is going to be a big one.
It's nice, isn't it?
But I didn't know it was going to be as sophisticated a movie as it was, and sophisticated a soundtrack. I mean, it's a really powerful soundtrack. I mean, there's lots of great songs on it.
It is. It's great. Oh my God, it's unbelievable. Is that the point? Is that the point when things possibly changed for you? Like, as in, did you find yourself kind of kicking from sort of level 1 to level sort of 7, 8 all of a sudden after that kind of a connection, or did it make much of a difference?
Yeah, I don't think, unfortunately, we were armed enough with people around the world to take advantage. Like we didn't have anybody on the ground in America on a management level to kind of take control of that, because we got really high radio add-ons on college radio across America. And I think at the time, Discotheque by U2 was the highest one. And my track was up there, like, as in the 4th highest played. And this is only probably for a couple of weeks, but had somebody been there on the ground to take advantage of it, and there was no singles in the shops at the time, and it was all a bit higgledy-piggledy. But to be honest, it has stood to me in the test of time, and that, like, I mean, the soundtrack is still really listened to, and people are kind of, who's this dude? I like this song. I don't know. So, and it's funny, you know, because people actually have forgotten about this song, and Galway Girl has probably, you know, overshadowed a lot.
I was going to say that. Yeah, I was going to say that. Has it overshadowed it and become, because it is an anthem, isn't it? It is an anthem, whether you like it or not. The way you do it is an anthem, and Sharon as well. It's just took legs, didn't it? Just grew legs, and Jesus, I never seen that.
Well, for me, I mean, like, for me, I think "To You I Bestow" is a cooler song in that it's an indie rock song. It's kind of more where I come from. Even the songs that I'm writing now are still, I mean, it's a natural way I do things. I sang Galway Girl the way I sang it because that's the way I felt it had to be sung, and I sing everything faster when I get nervous anyway. So I have a tendency to sing everything nearly 6 BPMs faster than they really are. So, but Galway Girl was a really great thing to happen to me, and it was an accidental occurrence because it happened just before the recession, and also happened before I became a dad. And when you become a dad, as I'm sure you probably know, are you a dad?
Hell yeah, I know.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the brain completely turns into fucking sawdust. Yeah, and it's very hard to be creative or to be mindful of what you really do and all that. So Galway Girl just kept me ticking over while I was finding my feet as a parent and all that. So, and it's a great song. I love it. I just wish that I had written 2 or 3 more types of that type of music to match it. Well, then, you know. Yeah,
I like it. You see, the way I look at that now, when I think of yourself there, and I think, you know what, you don't write those kind of songs, and I'm glad you don't, because your stuff is it is deep, it's indie, and it's really, like, that's what we love about your music. But the version of Galway Girl is just phenomenal. I think because Sharon is on it as well, it's the blend of both of you. It's the whole blend that kind of came together. How did you end up kind of falling in with Sharon? Was that kind of a casual night out or just an accident?
Yeah, a very, very happy accident with no plan. It was it was a divine, what would they call it? Like a divine intervention in that.
Intervention,
or a divine convention. Because I met Sharon a couple of times, met her after a Sinead O'Connor concert one night in Dublin. Yeah. A load of us went back to the Shelburne and had a mad session.
Lovely.
And of course, Sharon was kind of like, Sharon's great for getting people going and getting the crack going. Like she has that effect on people. But we both ended up on the same radio show in Roisin Dove one night. It was Today FM streaming Pet Sounds. It was just the top.
What a show.
The Tom Dunn show.
Yeah.
Live from Roisin Dove. And Sharon was on it promoting an album. I was on it promoting an album. And they said, would you do a duet? Because Sharon doesn't sing. So I said, yeah. And they said, you know, and I was at the time channeling a lot of Americana music, and I would have my album Raining Down Arrows, which had just gone to #1, would have been inspired somehow by a bit of Steve Earle and a bit of Lucinda Williams. And
I thought that, you have those influences anyway.
Yeah, Wilco and all that kind of stuff. So they asked us to sing a song together, and Galway Girl, I think Tom Dunn suggested Galway Girl, and I knew the album Transcendental Blues by Steve Earle, and that song was on it. So I literally printed it out, and I'd say I actually printed it out from a web cafe.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't have had the phone, and I don't think I would have had an iPhone back in 2005. Yeah.
Straight down to the local calf.
The calf, printed her out, and I read it. And I was like, Sharon, I did the right chords. Yeah, I'm only there grand, you know. So we just lashed it out, and by the end of the show, the producer said, the amount of texts that we're getting in about this song, like he said, it's unreal. He said people are all saying you have to record that, and that's a match made in heaven. So I did my live album from Vicar Street a few months later and invited Sharon up as a guest, and that version of it went out and just flew. The
The rest.
radio wouldn't play it because it was a live track, and then
Oh.
punters just heard it and they just kept requesting it. So
So they weren't really biting. They weren't biting the vibe of it.
yeah, well, radio is wants everything to be clean. So
Yeah.
but the power of the people will always overcome that decision, and it ended up becoming the biggest download for 2 years running in
Absolutely.
Ireland. Biggest.
Yeah.
So basically, if you sneezed and recorded it and put it up on iTunes, and enough people bought it, it can get into the charts. And so anything is, and it could be another bodily noise either. You know.
Yeah, it could be anything. Could be anything. But listen, but I think back to like Tom Dunn, Pet Sounds, all that era. Like that was a great era. Tom himself contributed a lot to Irish music around that time. He was a real channel for getting the likes of yourself through, and people, all of us really that are writing our own music. Would you have any advice now, say, for the young lads and young ones coming up? What would you say? Stick to your guns, be true, stay, don't, because an awful lot of young people I'm talking to now are going for this kind of quick instant single downloady kind of, download it, get it done. What do you think? Is that a good thing?
Well, you should always stick to your guns. I mean, you should always be open to advice as well. But if it doesn't feel right to be doing stuff, if you sign a record deal and they're trying to get you to make music that you're not feeling, you're not going to be able to sell it. People can see it in your eyes. People can feel it off you. So to a point, you have to stick to your own guns. You have to get out and play as much as you can. You have to, in the early days, I think it's all about cutting your teeth, playing as much as you can, playing to as many people as you can. Look, I used to always look at the ground and see if people were tapping their feet to my songs, because sometimes you play an open mic and people wouldn't look at you because they're a bit nervous, or it'd be intimate setting. But you can see if people are moving and stuff.
Body moves, you can see it, you can sense it. But I mean, you come from that ilk, and I know you do, because like a lot of musicians I know, that you've cut your teeth, and you talk about cutting you've made your sort of wares through live performance. You didn't kind of just suddenly arrive on the internet and go, oh hey, look, this is what I do. You've gigged and gigged for a long time before anything kind of clicked. And I think that's very important, and I'm glad you gave that message out, because I think it's good for younger people as well to know that it's important.
Well, you know what's strange? Since the lockdown thing, I kind of felt like I was starting all over again. I did my Sunday night gigs. I did 52 of them. I don't know whether I finished them or not yet, but I've definitely done a year of them. But I felt like I was cutting my teeth again, in that I was trying out new songs. I was playing again on my own. I was one thing I was afraid I was losing my voice. That if I didn't sing for a year, I wouldn't be able to sing by the time gigs came back.
Absolutely,
so for me, that's a big thing, is to stay toned up.
Keep toned up, oiled up. Your lives. I've been watching your lives there, and they've gotten better and better as time went on. You put a lot of effort into it, because I remember going back to one of your first three lives. They're improving. You can tell by looking at, he's not just kind of going, look, I'll stick this backdrop behind me and I'll do this every week, and no one will know any different. You're developing, and I recommend it very highly to everybody to go watch the lives. They're brilliant. I love them, and thank you for doing it, because a lot of musicians kind of have opted out and not kind of bother to engage. So
all it took was a few people telling me it sounded shit, literally. During the stream, where I could see the comments coming up, and I'm going, okay, it sounds like shit, and this person hasn't talked to me in about 10 years. And I just went out one day and I bought a desk. Actually, ironically, we couldn't get the bloody desk working tonight, but I did get it sounding really well, and kind of nicely lit and whatever. And I recorded the last one, which was a few weeks ago. So I had a couple of lads come over and film it and record it. So I'm hoping to maybe edit it and make a bootleg record, just as a memento of this crazy time that we've passed.
True. I think it's important. I think it's important as well, because a couple of my mates that I've been chatting to are kind of saying that they're going to do that, sort of make some sort of a marker on the whole thing, because it's been a fairly unique. It is, should I say, fairly? It is a bloody unique journey we're after been through here, all of us, not just musicians. But it's important that we mark it, I think, because who would have ever thought we would have been doing this a couple of years ago? Online, everything online. Come here, tell me, is there any new records as such? What's happening next for Monday?
Okay, so last Christmas, you gave me my heart. Just before Christmas, I released a song called Dark Long Enough as part of this series that came out called Ireland in Music. Yeah. And I ended up recording it with a young guy who was on it called Enda Gallery. He's also known as Delush.
Yes.
And so he produced it. And we just did it through lockdown, through like sending files to Dropbox and downloading, uploading, all that. So anyway, I'm doing a second single with him now called Childish Heart. And that's going to come out at some point. And then I have another one on the boil as well with another pal of mine. So I'm excited about the next two songs, and then I've a lot of songs that I need to get produced.
Somebody's asking here about the Ivy Gardens gig. I thought it was very emotional and to see a live gig after 15. Do you know what that is?
15 minutes.
Yeah. The Ivy Gardens.
I that was James Vincent McMorrow. I don't know. I wasn't there, and I guess for me a gig like that place holds 5,000 people. For 500 people to be there, it must have been kind of weird. But he's very talented. I mean, he's a great singer-songwriter.
He is indeed. Yeah, absolutely.
I'd prefer to be in a smaller room and just, even if there was 40 people listening to music, for me it'd be. I'm afraid of a big empty field. Put it that way.
Yeah, me too. I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan. I like a small crowd and a warm crowd. But so there is new singles. There's going to be new singles coming this year.
Absolutely, and they're lyrical and they're musical, and it's just like good old Monday, good old me, and not trying to. The thing is that you can get caught up on trying to match songs like. Trying to write another July, trying to write another Tiesto, trying to write another Galway Girl, which I've never been able to match. But these are all just songs that are.
I was going to say that as well, like, because now we're on the eve of July. Do you notice a massive spike in downloads when the actual month kicks in, or does it matter? Do you notice a bit of a kick in it when
I'd say before I was a dad. The new bob I made would have been noticeable, but now, just give me money, please.
Anything.
Anything at all. I don't know. I mean, it wouldn't be a huge amount, to be honest, because
it's a bit of an anthem, though, isn't it? Like, regardless of the money, forget the money.
I'll tell you what I am noticing, though. I have. Last year, I came up with this idea to make T-shirts for July, and I'm selling a good lot of them at the moment. So if anyone wants a really cool vintage looking July T-shirt or ladies July with my hand scribbles, they're on my website, monday.ie.
Brilliant. I've seen them. They're lovely. They're really cool, actually. I love them.
Organic cotton and all that.
Organic cotton and all that. I love it. I saw that during the week, and I think it's a great idea. I do the Friday Night Live T-shirts as well, and I think the merch is a great thing to keep things tipping over.
Thanks, Colin. Colin saying my T-shirts look great. He wears them on the golf course.
Brilliant. We did. We had a bit of a chat during the week about that nine iron. So I'm going to have to get to the bottom of that before the show ends tonight. I don't know what's happening there.
Can I tell you about that?
Tell it.
Basically, myself and Colin are friends with this chap called Emmett Tinley, who used to be the singer of the Prayer Boat.
I know Emmett,
I haven't seen Emmett in years.
It's been a while, yeah.
But they had a song called "Baby We're Already Saved," and in the middle of the song, there's a lyric about sometimes I'd rather play God. Okay. Right? That's one of the lyrics. And one of my friends thought he said, I love that song. He said, but I don't know what he means by sometimes I'd rather play golf.
Okay.
So myself and Colin just had this gag for ages. I'll see you on the back nine, or whatever.
Okay.
So it's all about that. It's kind of a skit on that song.
I love it. And this is Colin Devlin we're talking about for anyone watching as well, and he's up next. It was lovely, by the way, during the week, because, when I set up the old chat box in the messenger to see all of you having a laugh together and stuff, I was delighted. It was great. Everyone knows each other, which really, it kind of makes it a bit easier, doesn't it? It's a bit of fun.
Yeah, and actually it's great to see Louise Morrissey on here. I met Louise down in Jesus, down the Traveller's Friend down in Castlebar a couple of times, and
Yeah,
lovely lady,
yeah.
great singer.
She is a great singer and,
So it's
and a
nice,
great.
and I know Leslie as well, and I don't know the lady from America, but she sounded really good in sound check.
She's amazing, Monday. She's I think breaking. I always like that somebody who I think is going to be a breaking act, and she is pretty amazing. Keep an eye on her; she's really cool. But listen, what are you going to do for us live? This is my favorite part.
This is a song called "Sometimes I Thought I Was You," and I wrote this. I was reading Bruce Springsteen's autobiography, Born to Run, and there was a moment in it where he said he was about 18 or 19. He was struggling to find his voice, and he thought he was Jagger one minute, and he thought he was Dylan the next, but he wasn't. He was never himself, you know.
Yeah.
So I wrote this. I earmarked the page, and I wrote this line. Sometimes I thought I was you, and it's all about the heroes you have growing up, because you have to be based on somebody, or you're looking up to somebody. So it's kind of like a little story of my trip to Dublin and to where I'm at now. Okay, so
Excellent.
here
Look
we
forward
go.
to it in your own time.
Cheers. Can you see the guitar? Ah, there we go.
Oh yes.
Down through the years, learning my trade, going to concerts, seeing how it was made, ducking and diving, trying to get myself across, studying young Zimmerman and the boss, learning to fly in a Korean guitar, busking to Grafton outside many bars. Oh, money, it got stolen, it got made. Songs got learned and passed down through the trade. And I did almost everything that I had to do. Sometimes I even thought that I was you. Well, down in the mines in the Castlewood Den, I met many artists that I still call friends. Cats running wild, 4 to 5 people in one room. Solitaire Riverman blocked out the doom. 20 years old, I got signed for a record. My ears were still wet and my past wasn't checkered. 20 years later and I'm still in the game. By the skin of my teeth, but I'm still here all the same. And I did almost everything that I had to do. Sometimes I even thought that I was you. I thought I was you. I channeled your energy. I thought I was you, 'cause you helped me conquer my enemy. I thought I was you, because your vision was honest and true. Sometimes I even thought that I was you. Here we go. Whoa, 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 whoa. One more time. Whoa, 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 whoa. Well, sometimes I feel the need to pull up my socks. People are cruel and they turn back the clocks, and some will say that they taught you how to dance. To steal a watch from your coffin if you gave them half the chance. So what am I really trying to say is that I hope that I'm always able to play. It's kept my tobacco dry since I was young. I'm getting better at singing a song that I never sung. I'm getting better at singing a song that I never sung. Oh yeah, and I did almost everything that I had to do. I had to do. Sometimes I even thought that I was you. Oh yeah, and I did almost everything that I had to do. I had to do. Sometimes I even thought that I was you. Sometimes I even thought that I was you. Sometimes I even thought that I was you.
Wow. Brother, oh brother, that was brilliant. That was really cool. That's got inklings of early kind of Harlem vibes or something. It's got real kind of Americana. That's steeped in Americana.
Yeah, it's probably
New Orleans.
Yeah, and I think a bit of a John Prine vibe.
Is that a resonator you're playing?
Yeah, I bought this, believe it or not, I bought this on the bandstand in Dunleary off a kid.
No way.
What was his surname? Is Walsh, Jake Walsh or something.
And
Anyway,
you bought
I
it off
bought it
him,
off
correct?
him during lockdown,
Yeah.
and I was wearing my mask, and he was wearing his mask, and I emailed him, and we agreed a price, and I played it, and then he said, "Do you want me to do an invoice or something?" I said, "Yeah, make it out to Monday." And he said, "Like Monday is in the fucking singer," like, and I was like, "Yeah, that guy."
Yeah.
He goes,
You got a shock.
he said, "Why? And I said, "Because that's me." And I have to claim it, you know.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Fuck, I sing July," and I sing anyway because we had the mask on. It was quite funny anyway. So, then I had to get it repaired because there was something wrong with it. And the guy who repaired it made his grandfather a jazz guitar. So a guy called Derek Nelson, who's a great. So rather than me buying this off at Thoman and having no story, I have
that's a story. That is a story.
So that's great.
Brilliant. Yeah. Look, I know that you're flat to the mat. You're keeping busy all the time. I can't thank you enough, genuinely, for coming out to Friday Night Live. I've been asking you for a good while now, and
yeah. You weren't saying no, were you?
I was not taking no. No way. Not
motherfucker.
Yeah, no, it was the Monday. I wasn't taking no, but I do remember been on the same bill as you a long, long time ago. You might not remember it. Ever down the INEC in Killarney, and ourselves, Sharon, yourself. It was around the time of Galway Girl and stuff.
What was the name of your band?
Tommy Tiernan. I was solo. Dave Morrissey, myself, and I was there with Aslan, and we were all there at the same time. I don't know what was going on anyway.
Oh yeah, like McGowan was there as well, was he?
Yeah, we had a big night.
And we had a big party in the. There was a bit of a vibe. A bit of a vibe about 6 in the morning between an Aslan and a friend of McGowan's, I think.
It was great though. It was great, and that was the first time I met you in person. We had a great old laugh. Jesus Christ! Yeah. We swapped guitars and all. Now listen, it was a hazy night.
That's you're talking 2010, I'd say.
Yeah, we are because I just released my album. That's right. And we had a great old laugh. Jesus Christ, great night.
I knew by the head of you there was some
there was a stink of knowingness off him. Yeah, I know him from some. But listen, I never since then I've been listening to your stuff anyway. But I absolutely love everything you do, man, and I mean that genuinely. That's why I didn't take no for an answer. I think it's important that people listen to you, and it really is.
No, thanks very much.
I hope that's not the only Guinness you're going to have tonight. I'm sure you're going to refill that glass.
I'll see. Do you know, I'd love a real one. I know. It's a killer. But listen, kick back, enjoy the rest of it anyway. We've got loads more coming. And thanks again. You got a great bill tonight anyway, and I look forward to tuning in for the rest of the show. So how do I watch the rest of this?
You can just log out of this and go on to Facebook, Friday Night Live Show.
Okay, cool.
And watch it. Thank you so much, Honey. Thanks a million, man. Thank you so much. What a start. What a lineup. What a bill, as the man said himself. Monday, none other than, and a real character of the Irish music scene, like one of the big characters. I love him to bits. He's great cracking, great laugh, and always never takes things too seriously. Just has a bit of crack. But man, when he writes a song, it's good. And he always writes something really tight, meaningful, deep, and that indie vibe. It's always good. So let's kick on. Let's keep going anyway. And let's see what we've got. So guys, we're going to keep plugging through guests here as well. My next guest is somebody who I've been listening to for quite some time now, I'll be honest. And he is, I'm going to have a chat with him about it shortly. A gig that we ended up doing together one time that he might remember and he might not remember, and I don't want to hold him up too much because I know he's got things to do as well. It is of course none other than Mr. Colin Devlin, and I'm just going to cue him up here for a second. Colin, before you come on, I just want to say thanks to everybody for watching tonight. I know a lot of you are in, new people are in, because we've got such a good bill tonight, and it is a great bill. I mean, all guests are just wonderful tonight. So I'm going to kick off with Lost in the Silence. This is a new one that Colin has written, and I really, really love this song and the video. So let's have a listen. I love it.
Lost in the silence, lost to the world, lost in the silence. I think about it all, I think about it all the time. The view from your window, dancing in circles. The rhythm of your breath with mine. I think about it all the time. But time don't make it easier on me. No, time don't make it right. Lost in the silence, lost to the world, lost in the silence, lost to the world. But time don't make it easier on me. No, time don't make it right. Dancing in circles, dancing in circles. The view from your window, I think about it all, I think about it all the time. I think about it all the time. I think about it all the time. Lost in the silence, lost to the world, lost in the silence, lost to the world.
Wow, wow, wow. I mean, that is just pretty spectacular in my opinion. It's the perfection of the vocalist that does it for me every time. And he knows what I'm talking about. Absolutely knows what I'm talking about. And without further ado, because we're going to keep moving, because I know he's busy and I know he's got places to be. Mr. Colin Devlin, welcome to the show.
Hey, Dave.
Great.
Can you hear me?
We're all good. Yeah, of course. Colin, as per usual, you might not be aware of it, but I've been listening to your stuff for many, many years, and the one thing that you always deliver is that almost chocolate style vocal that is just so good, so good.
Thank you. Is it dark chocolate or milk chocolate, Dave?
I'm not sure. I'm trying to decide. I'm not sure, but it's definitely silky smooth. I think maybe caramel. I'm thinking that kind of vibe, but it's just so you put a lot of effort into your vocals. Would that be fair to say? You put a lot of time into the production of them.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have an amazing range in my vocal, but I just I think it's like any singer that I admire. You sing from the heart, and you kind of you do the best you can, and it's really just about for me just trying to get the emotion across of the feeling. So you're always kind of striving for it, but I suppose I maybe make it easy for myself where I don't try and reach too many high notes. But yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, no, you just
try your best, I guess. And
Yeah, and I think
it.
it's important. You know what? I think it's important myself because I like, very like yourself, I am not Freddie Mercury by any standards, and I don't do high range stuff at
You're
all.
freezing for me
You,
here. Hang on.
am I freezing? Sorry. I'll keep talking anyway, Colin, while you're having a look. So I'd be a low to mid vocalist myself, quite low, and I think it's more important to deliver the tone,
Yeah.
deliver the tone, of the vocal, deliver the magic, deliver the feeling. It doesn't actually really matter. I've learned that over the years. A producer that I worked with many years back sat me down one night in the studio, and he said to me, "Listen, I need to hear your breath. I don't care how high you sing or how low you sing, but I want to hear you actually breathing out the lyric, breathing out the vocal as such." I learned it was such a valuable lesson, and when I listen to you as a vocalist, it's very evident there. You're just in the zone, and it doesn't matter. I don't think about scales or notes or whatever. I can feel exactly what you're singing about, and I think that's
Great, thanks. Yeah, and I think it's it's like I guess sort of the antithesis of the sort of pop idol singers and the doing the histrionics or whatever. It's that's not. It's funny when I watch that.
Yeah.
But anyway, but I think it's like when the Devlins made our first record, we made it in New Orleans with Daniel Lanois and Malcolm Byrne, and we were just set up. Like set up in a like his living room space basically. And I guess in those days that it wasn't as prevalent as it is now, and so it's amazing sort of four pasty faced white guys from Dublin going to New Orleans, and although I still look pretty pasty faced a month later, to be honest, because I didn't get out much, but
there wasn't many Irish guys in New Orleans at that time. There wasn't.
Not a lot, no. And so it was kind of a different thing. Well, actually, we'd started the album in Dublin and done half it there, and then we had brought our master tapes over to them, which Herbie, our keyboard player, and Malcolm Byrne, the producer, had left in one of the nightclubs in Leeson Street the night before the flight, because as a celebration, we were going to finish the recording, and they kept on going. So there was a bit of panic. We had to go and bang down the door the next morning to before they all
get
to try and find them. Yeah, they were. We thought they were going to be in the bin. It wouldn't have been great.
What was the point, say, or was that the point where you guys connected? Because I know you've got a massive connection with the States. Was that the point, or was it beforehand? When did that happen? We'd started to do gigs around Dublin, and we were playing, in places like the Baggett Inn, and then we did a part of bill at Trinity, and an American lady had come over, and she had wanted to sign us, and so the next weekend, basically, we flew over to they she was like, "Are you free next weekend to go to New York?" Yes, of course.
So we went over literally with like a weekend bag, and we ended up staying about maybe 6 weeks, because when we got there, Joe O'Hurley, U2's, Joe and Joe's U2 sound guy. So he had put us in touch with their lawyer in New York, and she met us and said, "Listen, I'm too busy, but I'll meet you for a cup of tea." And so we met her, and we got on great. And she listened to the demo tape, and she said, "Listen, can you stay for a couple of weeks?" So it was all by accident that it happened really that way in the States. And then from there, we kind of, got offered a lot of deals at that point, and then we signed with Capitol Records after that. So it really was just very, like all these things, it's just luck and timing,
It is, yeah, and then it is absolutely. But yet, when I think of the Devlins as the band, it almost seems like you should be there. That's where you should be, because your music is very Americana or American, whatever way we want to use the term. But it sits wonderfully where you are. Do you kind of find that it sits nicely, with listeners there? And it's as if you've always been.
I guess, it's like as Mundy was saying, you're sort of influenced by different sort of bands growing up, and then Peter, my brother, his influences were different, and he was already started to play in bands. He was kind of he was in really cool mod bands, and so I was, and he was great. He kind of let me play with his friends, which I was a few years younger, a couple of years. So that was exciting for me at sort of, in school, to be able to play with musicians who were like 18.
Already out
Yeah.
there doing it. Yeah.
So
absolutely.
anyways, I guess you just sort of gravitate towards what you gravitate towards. And for me, it's never been, I guess the music I like is sort of atmospheric and heartfelt and slow. And, as you get older, it changes, I guess. And,
yeah. Speaking of which, of course, the song that we just listened to there, "Lost in the Silence." Yeah. What is the inspiration behind that? That's a wonderful song, by the way, and the video is amazing. What was the inspiration behind that and the other tracks that are happening?
Thank you. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. I think it's just really about that, the sort of inner dialogue that you have with yourself, and sometimes a memory or a person or something that just really sticks with you, and you just it becomes a momentous thing in your life, and maybe it shouldn't be, or it's really about as the title says, really, "Lost in the Silence." That's for me, that's kind of where it is. It's like an inner memory dialogue. Sort of.
Yeah, because I kind of read a few things during the week about you yourself and the whole sort of family and friends vibe, and that you immerse yourself in that when you're writing as well, that it's important to you to bring all of those emotions in. Is there some of that in these tracks at the minute, the new stuff?
Yeah, definitely. Well, we've signed a new deal for a new Devlin's record, so I'm kind of writing with that in mind. And
I'm absolutely thrilled to hear that, by the way.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it, and I'm only going to make it if it's good. So
yeah, absolutely.
So we're really excited about that. So I'm heading back to Dublin in a couple of weeks, and we'll be there. We'll be starting rehearsals, and thanks, Rachel. We'll be heading back to do that. So I'm very excited about that. So just
looking forward to it. Yeah, I can't wait to hear you guys back together and doing what you do best. I think it's amazing. But meantime, how are you finding life where you are now? Where are you based now? Whereabouts are you based?
Yeah, I live in I'm back and forth between Dublin and here, but Pasadena, which is just outside LA.
Yeah, beautiful.
So it's a beautiful spot.
I got a couple of locations for you when I was doing a kind of a Wikipedia. So I better ask you. I'm not going to actually say you're in Pasadena right now.
Yeah.
And you said to me, no, actually, Dave, I'm in New Orleans.
Yeah, burner phones.
Yeah,
burner phones left, right, and center. No, here. So, and I also the label that I'm signed to, and I also work with as a creative director for them. They're a fantastic label called Blue Elan.
Yeah,
and they're a fantastic bunch of people. Yeah, and they're amazing. So I'm kind of a sort of in a sort of creative director role for them, where kind of I guess just after you have so much experience, so stuff that maybe obvious to me may not be so obvious to them.
And is that an Irish label? Blue Elan?
No, I mean there are it's a label that's based here.
Yeah, okay.
But we put a record out with Lisa Lam, who just put out a really nice record last year.
Yeah, because the name has popped up. I've seen the name pop up a lot over here, and I thought maybe there's an Irish connection. Well, there is now, of course.
That's probably where, but they're a fantastic bunch of people, and they're all about the music.
Brilliant.
And just let you do,
do your thing. Do your thing
and not interfering, and no one to leave you alone. Yeah,
there is not much room left, unfortunately, in the current music world to not compromise and do your own thing. So it's hard. Personally delighted to hear that the Devlins are making a new record. I love everything you do together, but your solo stuff. That's why I was so adamant about getting you on. Blew me away. It just blew me away during the week because I was like, wow, this is great. Like, you're doing the same thing with the same passion on your own as well, which is wonderful. You're putting the same effort. And
I've made 2 solo records. Yeah, I'm really proud of both of them. They're both different, but they're both
wonderful.
And thank you. Yeah. So
is there
worth checking out? Yeah.
Is there any gigs coming up? Will there be gigs in Pasadena?
Yeah, there will be a lot of gigs. I think once we've, obviously, with COVID and stuff, last year was a bit of a write-off, obviously. So the plan is just to get the new record finished, and then I would hopefully we'll be in a lot of shows. That's my goal for hopefully the end of the year, maybe
End of the year.
2022 for sure.
Yeah, and hopefully in Ireland. Jeez, I hope you come to Ireland. I really
No,
do.
definitely. Yeah, no, we'll
we'd
be
love to see
basing
it.
it there and doing that for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And you are going to give us a live track, which I'm
Why not? Yeah.
totally delighted with, as per usual. I love when people agree to do a live song. What are we gonna go for, Colin?
Well, I was thought Monday was talking about Bruce Springsteen. There, I was going to do a song called Heaven's Wall, which I haven't done for ages, and it's when I was trying to play it this morning, I was like, oh shit, that's really high. So I brought it down, and it sounds good, I think, in key. Okay. And so I thought I'd give that a go. So hopefully it'll
brilliant. So
this
is Heaven's Wall, is it?
Yeah.
This is a new song, is it?
No, it's on the Devon second record called Waiting.
That's what I was thinking. I've heard this before. Yeah, I've heard a version of this.
When you talk about Springsteen, Springsteen was using it as walk-on music for one of the solo shows with another 20 songs on the as people are coming in.
Excellent.
But anyway, so I thought I'd give it a go, but it's on the record it's very electric and things. So
it is actually more,
that it might be nice to do it like this.
Do a mellow version. Okay, without further ado, Colin Devlin of the Devlins, who we all love and adore musically, Heaven's Wall. Let's, in your own time, Colin, when you're ready.
Through the rise and fall, through the urban sprawl, you can have my sight, then we can see it all. In your neon dreams, you will know what it means outside of heaven's wall. From the mountain top, we'll see the fires glow, where everything you are is everything you know. And then the fear will come, and we can feel as one outside of heaven's wall. So come on, take my hand, I see it through it all. And when the stars come out, you can watch them fall. So come on, take my hand, we'll rise above it all. Then we can meet as planned inside of heaven's wall. From the tower blocks to the lakes and trees, know where you are, no matter what you see. And when the real rain comes, then we can feel as one outside of heaven's wall. So come on, take my hand, I see it through it all. But when the stars come out, you can watch them fall. So come on, take my hand, we'll rise above it all. Then we can meet as planned, the top of heaven's wall. Heaven's wall. Yeah.
Yes. Colin, you
How's
have
that?
treated us to something very, very special tonight. Very, very special. And foolish me for asking you, is that a new song? I should have known. Of course, it was a Devon's tune. At back of my mind, I was like, here's a new song. That is a song and a half. Foolish me for thinking that. Wow, that's really cool. I think you've got a B-side there, if I ever heard one, that could be either. That's a lovely version of
Definitely. Yeah, the acoustic.
it.
Yeah,
What I used.
we should. We're thinking about banging out an acoustic record as well when we make a new one as well. And
I think it'd be great. Yeah, I think you could
while
put
we're in
that
the
on
room,
it.
yeah. So thanks to everyone for listening and for tuning in. I'm going to bring.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
It's my daughter
Go ahead.
Evie's graduation today. She's 6 and she's graduated from school today. So I'm going to bring her ice skating now. So if you see me with a cast.
Plan. Sounds like a plan. Listen, don't fall, don't hurt them hands or anything, because we know you should be insuring those fingers, man, big time. But don't hurt yourself. Whatever you do, don't hurt yourself. And big congrats to your daughter on graduating. That's wonderful news.
Great. And thanks for asking me, Dave. This is brilliant. What you're doing is great here. It's very cool. And I wouldn't like Monday. I knew you'd keep going, so I just said yes. Second time, second time you asked me.
I know. I'm
just say, Monday myself. Go way back. He's a great friend. He's one of Ireland's finest songwriters, and he's July sewn up. So
he's still here. He's still drinking Guinness, and he's still watching the show, which is great.
Fantastic.
As you can see, he's putting up a lot of stuff there. And he told me the story about the 9 iron, so that's even better. So we have everything. We've everything cleared up now. Poor old Emmett, who I ran into and bumped into many times down the road. So maybe we'll get him on the show and get him to explain what the lyrics are all about.
Well, as long as he sings the "I'd rather play golf" line.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I think it's great. Listen, have a lovely day.
Well. All right.
Best wishes to Peter as well and everybody in the Devlin's family. Thank you so much for coming on. You've really made tonight a very, very special night. And
thanks, Dave. And hopefully we'll see you in person. Yeah,
absolutely. We'll when you're back in Ireland, it'll be wonderful. Yeah, wonderful.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Colin. Enjoy your day.
Bye.
Take care. So there you go, guys. I told you it was going to be literally a super show tonight. A super or stellar is a word I use, and I don't use it lightly. It is a super stellar show tonight. What great guests! And as Colin said there, I don't take no for an answer if I really want a guest on, and I think it's worth getting them on. I'll ask, and I'm glad I do, because to have the two lads there opening the show tonight has just been amazing. And moving on, because I know I'm running a little bit behind, my next guest is a lady who I am not going to be ashamed to say had a little bit of a teenage crush on when I was younger, when she came out with her band first in Tuanua. I thought she was just amazing. Everything, oh my God. The way she looked, the way she moved on stage, the way she sang, everything about her was just... Look, what teenage guy would not absolutely fall in love with this lady? And now, as a slightly older gent, I still listen to her and love her music and love everything she does. And I'm so delighted that she's on the show tonight. So without further ado, I'm going to give you one of the good ones. I picked this because I just think it's important to play this. This is, of course, Leslie Dowdle and In Tuanua and All I Wanted, which I love this song. I had to go for this just for my guilty pleasure. So here we go. What a tune. I love it.
You understand me now, what is a promise? Every single piece of my body, though I've fallen at every corner, asking not for shelter or for charity. What you needed, I could not give you, for all the love and money in this world. All I wanted was to believe in somebody. Never thought I would feel this way. All I wanted was to believe in somebody. Never thought I would see another day. It's like my father, I still love him, but it's not easy, no, not ever. Still it goes on, these roots run deep beneath the lies that we speak. Thick as thieves, slapping up our sleeves, till we learn to steal from each other. All I wanted was to believe in somebody. I thought I would feel this way. All I wanted was to believe. believe in somebody, but thought I would see the day. Come on down into my kitchen. I've got some stories to tell. Come on down into my kitchen. I've got some stories to tell. Understand me now. Well, here's a promise from every single piece of my body. Though I've fallen at every corner, ask not for shelter or for charity. To believe in somebody, never want to feel this way. I want to believe in somebody, never want to see another day. Believe in somebody. I want to. Just to believe in somebody. I want to. To believe in somebody.
Yes, the unmistakable sound of Intuanua and Leslie Alda, which she goes under now, Dowdle, or Leslie Dowdle, who we all know and love from that era. I certainly have enjoyed her music for many, many years, but that era, I just love it. Intuanua, what a band, what a super band. Now I have lost her in the green room, but not to worry, we will get back to that in a moment. And if she will come back to me in a minute. But meantime, because I don't lose too much time tonight, and these things happen, I know she's there because I was talking to her earlier on. Meantime, what I might do is keep moving, because these things happen live. That's what I love about Friday Night Live, by the way, and I'm glad you're all enjoying it. Nothing goes 100% to plan all the time, but as long as you can kind of keep it covered and enjoy it as we're going along, because all of my guests have been wonderful tonight, and they're all very, very busy people and people who you know quite well. And the fact that they've taken time out of their schedules to join us tonight is just wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. So while I'm kind of waiting there, because I'm not sure, Leslie might have lost connection there. She is above in the valleys of Glenmalure in County Wicklow, so we'll give her a chance. Meantime, I'm going to get straight into Louise Morrissey's new single, who is going to be my guest now. I think we're going to go straight to Louise in a few minutes. This is a really, really cool song, and she's not too far away from me. Actually, she's I think, as far as I know, in Tipperary, not too far across the way. And I'm delighted to have her on the show tonight. And this is her new single called "You'll Be Mine." So let's go straight to that and chat to Louise, because I know she's here, and catch up on everything that she's doing.
The very first time that I saw you, I said someday you'll be mine. You said hi there, and I just stood there, but my heart said you'll be mine. Until I hold you in the darkness, my light of love will shine. Till it happens, I'll be happy, knowing someday you'll be mine. You're the warm love I had dreamed of, and I promise you'll be mine. I don't know when, and I can't say how, but I know one thing, you'll be mine. You're gonna know how my love feels. It's only a matter of time, but I'll be when you do. You'll be mine, and you see that I'm the one for you. You'll be mine, and I'll be there to love you when you do. I don't know when, and I can't say how, but I know one thing: you'll be mine. Till it happens, I'll be happy, knowing someday you'll be mine. Knowing someday you'll be mine. Knowing someday you'll be mine. You'll be mine.
Yeah, the unmistakable sound of Louise Morrissey, who we all know and treasure on the Irish music scene for everything that she has done and will do. So let's get straight into it. Louise, are you there?
Hi, Dave. I'm
hallelujah.
here. Yeah.
Listen,
Hi.
everything is going swimmingly good tonight, and I know Leslie's back in the green room as well, so all good. So
Hi,
I've kind of
Hi, everyone.
hi everyone. I said I'd skip on and jump on and get you going because I know Leslie is there now and stuff. But Louise, let me start by saying I had a bit of a bet with a couple of people during the week that told me that I bet you if you asked Louise Morrissey to come on to Friday Night Live, she'd never in a million years come on to Friday Night Live. So I'd just like to say to those people, here she is. And hallelujah. And thank you so much for coming on. Because you're very popular around Limerick here. I'm sure you know that. Where I am anyway, in Castleconnell and all the county. Of course, Tip as well and Limerick. But, you know, you're very popular over here. So thank you so much for coming on.
Well, thank you for having me. Thanks for inviting me. And sure, why wouldn't I come on? I was delighted to be asked. And I know, you know, you've got some amazing guests on tonight. And, you know, obviously we've all got our own styles and we're all very different in what we do. So it's lovely to be involved in a show like this. So I'm really happy. I'm glad you won your bet as well.
Thank you. Hallelujah. Well, speaking of that, I have to ask you this because this is the first question I've been asked to ask tonight by a friend of mine. Mike has asked me to ask you about the year that you sang Slieve na Mon at the All-Ireland Hurling Final. Can you remember that year, when it was, and what do you remember about that?
I can indeed, Dave. Yeah, it was a great honour for me to be there singing in Croke Park. You know, I always feel it's a great honour to be able to represent your county, not to mind saying your country. And I'm very proud Tipperary woman, and anybody who knows me knows that. Yeah. And anyway, I sang at halftime at Croke Park for the All-Ireland Hurling Final in 1988, and the match was between Galway and Limerick. Now, my singing put our team off anyway that year because we didn't win, but it didn't matter to me. I mean, I was just so happy to be there. I'd never been to Croke Park before that, never there before. Okay. And, you know, it was just such a fantastic experience, you know, to walk out into the middle of the pitch and you know, the crowd and the roars of the crowd and the cheers and to see all the, you know, the Tip flags all over the place and everybody, I mean, you know, the Galway people, everybody just joined in and sang. And it really was, like, for me, it was a fantastic experience. It's something that I'll always remember and always treasure, and was very proud to do it.
Yeah, it is, and I mean, I've only ever been to one All Ireland hurling final in my life, and I wasn't affiliated to either team, but the buzz of it, just sitting there, I can understand what it's all about. I got it that day. I can only imagine what it's like for you, but yeah, you're a very, very proud Tip woman. And speaking of which, what is happening on radio at the minute? Because I only kind of, when I started looking into more stuff, you're doing some stuff, a weekly radio show. What's happening there on it's on Midwest, is it?
Yeah, it's Tipperary Midwest Radio, which broadcasts out of Tipperary town, and it's community radio, and it's been in operation for about 30 years now, I think, at this stage. But during the lockdown, I'm there almost a year already, which I can't believe, but you know, during the lockdown, of course, you know, like everybody around the country, we were just all, you know, trying to cope and deal with the COVID crisis, and, you know, no work, and, you know, obviously people get bored and fed up. So I was delighted when this opportunity presented itself that I could go and do my own weekly show. So I jumped at it, of course, and I was delighted, you know, to get the chance to do it. And it just took me a while, you know, to settle in. You know yourself what it's like.
Did you ever do it before? Did you DJ or do any sort of presentation?
No.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Only you know, guesting on shows, you know, like, you know, what I'm doing now, and you know, chatting and sitting in and chatting, and maybe, you know, reading requests and choosing music, but you know, there was a presenter there, you know, running the ship, as we say. But anyway, it just took me a while to settle in, and you know, to get to know how to use the computer, and there was a lot of wrong buttons pressed for a few weeks now, I can tell you that, and there was a lot of gremlins in the studio. I think they traveled with me in my handbag, I think, every week. But anyway, you know, I'm well into the swing of it now, and I absolutely love it, and I love the interaction, you know, with the people on the show, you know, texting in and saying hello and the different requests and all that. And I'll tell you as well, Dave, it's keeping me sane. It really is, because it's something to focus on every week. And I just absolutely love it, more than even I thought I would. And I really do. Yeah,
I do. I agree with you 100%. We spoke earlier on when we were kind of screen testing and doing stuff, and you said that to me, and I thought, wow, I actually can totally relate to where you're at right now. We are both in the same boat. I have ended up doing this from home, presenting. It was my own kind of brainwave that I come up with. Let's do this for the crack. And you've ended up in Tip Midwest. And it is definitely in aid of sanity, and it works on a weekly basis. I love the word you used was interaction. That is what it's all about.
But sorry.
You have to talk to people, don't you? You have to interact, and you have to. It's good for the soul. That's what we are as beings, you know.
That's
Is
true. Are you going to do this?
Are you going to continue on? Are you going to keep going?
I am. I mean, if they'll allow me to, which I think they will, and I think that they're happy enough. You know, with my show and everything. It's like you were saying, it's very important to have interaction with people, and that's something that, you know, that we've all missed, and especially with being busy in music over the years. And you know, you do get to meet a lot of people, and you're chatting people after the show and before the show, and you know, maybe, you know, in our case with the country music scene, you know, a lot of the artists even come out during the break, and you know, we're just like regular people, like, you know, like everybody. And that is one thing that I've missed big time, and I'm just really looking forward to getting back to, you know, meeting humans, you know, meeting other people to chat to and have a laugh, and it's something that everybody has missed so much.
Well, I agree with you. I think it's a huge part of the country scene and the show band scene as well, because I grew up around show bands and stuff as a child. My parents were into it and all that sort of stuff, and people I knew were into it. We were talking about, are we related? We could be related to, Louise. We'll have to talk about that after the show.
Same surnames. Yeah.
But I always remember, right? I remember seeing Joe Dolan when he was alive. He was a great man, and the likes of him and Dickie Rock and different acts live. They always had this thing about them where, as you said, during the break or after the gig, they didn't just go into the green room and disappear. They came out, they spoke to people, and everybody felt like you knew them. They were like your friend, you know, and that's, you only find that. I've only ever seen that in the country music scene and the show band scene. But you also not just only do that at gigs, but you've done some really, really good things for the Defence Forces overseas as well. And I have a question here from Amanda has asked me this to ask you, because I was going to ask you about it anyway, but does she remember the year that she went to the Lebanon? She has a pic of you with her dad, who was serving in the army at the time. Do you remember the year you went to Lebanon?
I think it was 94. 94 or 95. It was 94. I'm fairly sure it was 1994. Because I'd had a car accident in 1993, and I know it was after that, you know, that I was recovered. And so that was a fantastic experience, Dave. And hi to Amanda as well, and thanks for sending in that.
I'm glad you
did. It's lovely. No, we had a great time. It was something, I'm not sure if it still goes ahead, but I know that they used to, the Army press office would invite an Irish band to go out and entertain the troops. You know, when they go out and do their 6-month tour of duty out there, and we were invited out, to go with the band. And we thought, God, this is going to be a great experience. And it was after the Gulf War, yes. And it was just a fantastic experience, is all I can say. Just something completely different that we'll never, ever again get to experience. And I know that any of the other bands that have been out would tell you the same thing. You know, we went out and we were based at Camp Shamrock. That was like the main base for the Irish troops.
Yeah.
And we were driven around in I was driven around this lovely air-conditioned Jeep, because I'll never forget the heat. The heat was cruel out there. Yeah. But the guys had the air-conditioned Jeep, so I got to travel in that anywhere that we were going, to the different camps to do a show each night. And the boys in the band didn't get that luxury. So
I can imagine. Yeah, I can imagine.
One of the lads in the band at the time reckoned that he left at least 2 stone of himself behind in the Lebanon, because he just perspired so much.
Yeah,
God. But it was an amazing experience, and we were so well looked after, and we were just something that we were delighted to do. And actually, my grandnephew is going out there in later in the year. He's going out to the Lebanon for 6 months. So please God,
wow,
and everybody, they'll all be safe. Yeah.
Yeah, we've all. Yeah, well, I'm originally a Kildare man myself, so I'm well affiliated with the whole trips overseas. I wasn't a member of the army myself, but I have many family members who are in it, and it's a very special thing, I think, to be able to go out and play music for them. I think it's a great thing. I really do. I do a lot of work in the Curragh camp myself, musically, and different things, the pipe bands and stuff like that up there. And there's something very unique about it. Something very, very unique about it. It's an honor, really, to be involved, because they're great. They are great people. But listen, skipping on to that now and past all of that stuff, what is happening? You've got 2 new singles that you've brought out, and that one that we just listened to, You'll Be Mine. Is there a new album coming? Is this going to be part of a new album?
Yeah, there is. I'll probably, all going well, fingers crossed, that I'll have it out, later in the year, towards autumn. And I have another single ready to come out as well, something that I just got finished. I recorded the song you just played, You'll Be Mine, and the previous single was Who Did You Call Darling? And I just had them recorded just before the lockdown. And I sort of kept them and only released them kind of more recently, because I thought there wasn't much point in bringing something out when there was just absolutely nothing happening and no gigs and nothing at all. The whole thing was dead in the water. But anyway, delighted to get something out. And I've been in Cloughjordan there in the last few weeks with Peter Maher at Middlebox Studios, and I've recorded a new song. Peter used to play in the band with me. He was my piano player for 9 years. And so he's a great guy, and he's produced my latest, my new single that's coming out. It's something a little bit different, so I'm really looking forward to it, and I hope that when
you say different, what do you mean? What do you mean by
different?
Well,
it's not as country as what you've just played, and my last few singles. It's not as country. Brilliant. And it is a little bit different, but I really hope people will like it. I think they will.
They will, they will. They do. I mean, in fairness now, look, I'm not a huge, I don't have a lot of knowledge of country music myself, but when I hear your stuff, I like it. I always do like it. And it's just, it's your vocal is always solid. I find your vocal is very strong. It's really, it stands out wonderfully in all of your mixes and productions. And
thanks very much.
It's the clarity of it I love. You can make it out all the time, everything you're doing and stuff. But speaking of which now, other musicians as well, I know you have 2 brothers. And they're Norman. Is he, am I right in saying, involved in radio as well? Am I right?
He is. I actually have 3 brothers, yeah.
And Billy
but Billy and Norman, yeah, we started in music when we were kids. And we were known as the Morrissey Folk Group, for years. And when we toured all over Ireland, and I stress we were kids. Literally, we were barely out of the pram when we started.
I look back on some stuff. Yeah, I mean, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. I was 12 when we did our first gig, like our first paid gig. We would have been involved. I suppose a lot of musicians and everybody, who's on the show with you tonight as well, all the lads. We would have all started kind of on the local scene and local concerts and talent competitions and anything that was going on, where you could go in and sing a few songs and all that. And it's a great way to learn and get experience and all that. And it's good for you because
Yeah.
you learn, you know, to take the knocks as well as the good things that
yeah, and I
happen, you
know,
know,
like,
because you have
yeah,
to have
Monday
that as
was
well.
on
You know?
Monday was on first tonight, and it's the very same mantra as you're saying there about cutting your teeth live,
Yeah.
absolutely live.
Yeah.
I did my first gig, I think, when I was 15, pushing 16, as a drummer. And now, when I tell my kids that, they're looking at me going, "What the hell? Where was the you know, child protection laws?" But I mean,
I know, yeah.
that's what we did. There was no harm in it. We were, you know, and there was no harm.
Exactly, yeah.
So,
Yeah,
you
no
know,
harm whatsoever. And it's funny when I would think now of some of my my nieces and nephews and you know, like kids that live around, you know, that
yeah,
live along the road and they're like 10, 12, 13 years of age. And if you heard tomorrow that they're going out on the road and they're going on tour, you'd say,
you
God,
you'd lose your
you
mind.
know,
You'd
they're
lose
so
your
young.
mind. Yeah.
But still we did it and we thought nothing of it and we made no wonder of it and it didn't do us an ounce of harm either, you know. But
No, it
we're
didn't.
well-minded and protected by our parents and, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
everybody as well, you know.
Well, look, I suppose it was different times altogether, but it definitely stood to it has stood to you and many of us who did that when we were young, because your gigging experience and your gigging stamina just comes natural. I think it kind of comes natural. You don't think too much about it. You just do it, don't you? You just kind of
You
get up
do,
on
yeah.
stage. It's second nature. It's part of who you are. And speaking of
Yeah,
which,
well, I
when do you
suppose
think
if we thought about it, we'd never do it.
yeah, yeah, that's true. When do you think, when will we see Louise Morrissey live? What do you think? What's the plan?
I'm doing my first gig, Dave, which will be the first gig in a year and a half. It's coming up in August.
Okay.
And it's one of these pilot gigs, you know, that are happening, and it's on in the Manor in Kildare, Paristown Estate in Kildare,
Yeah.
and they're doing like several weeks of music of all different, you know, genres of music. So one weekend is a country music weekend, and I'm on that one, and it's on the 8th of August. So I'm really looking forward to that. So that'll be the first gig in, you know, since
Great.
March.
Great to hear.
Last year, yeah, when the pandemic set in. So, but I think realistically it'll be next year before things really kind of kick off.
I agree. I think you're right. I think we're going to be treated to a couple of things over the winter and late summer, but next year is going to be full on. But it's great to hear. I'm delighted that you're coming back and doing something live. That's going to be great. Where can people listen to the music? Where's the best place to go?
What you mean for this particular gig?
For you in general, is the website the best place to listen to the new single?
Oh, sorry, God, sorry. You can check out my website, which I need to get updated now as well, and which hasn't been because there hasn't been anything happening. But you know, check into my Facebook page, Louise Morrissey, and then there's the Louise Morrissey Music. They're my own official.
You
pages,
have everything.
I've seen it. So you know, anything that's happening, I put the posters
on YouTube.
up
You've got good stuff. Yeah, you've stuff on YouTube, and it's
and videos go up on YouTube and all that. And I have an Instagram page as well. Just it's Louise Morrissey Music on Instagram. So you know, posters or anything like that will go up there as well.
I was pleasantly surprised during the week. Here she was on Instagram and Facebook and everywhere. I said, "Here, there's no need to worry here. Absolutely up to scratch with all the tech stuff, you know, and it's hard to keep up with it, isn't it? I find it's just there's so many platforms to try and keep up with.
God, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be great now. I have to say. I mean, you know, even before we came on this evening, I was saying, "Oh God, I hope I'll be able to get into this now." But I always say, if you press enough button, finish.
We are going to be treated to a live song because you did do a little test earlier on, so I was delighted. What are we going to go for, Louise?
Yeah, I'm going to do a country song. Are we doing? Do you want me to do that now? Kind of
when you're ready. Yeah, but tell us.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, tell us a bit about it.
I'll just
take your time. You're grand.
Make sure these headphones now don't
fall
off. Well, I play guitar as most people would know, and you know, the fact that I started in the folk scene, and folk music, country music are pretty similar anyway. So I thought I would do this lovely song that I've been doing for years. It's a Johnny Cash song. I Still Miss Someone.
Beautiful.
If that's okay.
Beautiful tune. Louise Morrissey, it is an absolute pleasure to have you here and also doing a live song. So in your own time, work away.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
At my door, the leaves are falling. A cold wild wind will come. Sweethearts walk by together, and I still miss someone. Oh, I never got over those blue eyes. I see them everywhere. I miss those arms that held me when all the love was there. I wonder if he's sorry for leaving what we've begun. There's someone for me somewhere, and I still miss someone. I go to a party to look for a little fun, but I find the darkest corner, 'cause I still miss someone. Oh, I never got over those blue eyes. I see them everywhere. I miss those arms that held me when all the love was there. I wonder if he's sorry for leaving what we've begun. There's someone for me somewhere, and I still miss one. There's someone for me somewhere, and I still miss one.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful song.
Thank
and
you.
Great choice. That really
Thank
suits
you.
you. Totally. Really, really, really suits you. That's a wonderful
Thanks
song.
very much.
I love Johnny Cash. And of course, Louise Morrissey, we are your fans and we love your stuff. And you know that around here, Limerick, Tipperary, all over Ireland. I mean, it's safe to say that you're probably the most popular female country artist in Ireland right now, if I was to be honest, in my opinion anyway. And I think that's one hell
thank
of
you.
that's one hell of an achievement, because I know it didn't come easy. You've worked very, very hard to get where you are today, and I wish you the best of success in the future when you get back gigging, doing what you do yourself really, really well. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on, and you've made tonight very special night. I've told everybody we're going to have an amazing lineup, and of course, you are very much part of that.
Well, thank you very much, Dave. Thanks for having me on. And hi to everybody else who's been on as well. All amazing artists. I'm delighted to be part of the whole thing tonight. And to all your fans and all your people who tune in every Friday night. Thanks a million. Thanks for having me.
You're more than welcome, Louise. Listen, if you've got a bottle of wine there, open it, sit back. Please stay with us for the rest of the show and enjoy our last few guests, because it's going to be good fun. Thank you so much,
Thanks
Louise. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
That was Louise Morrissey, of course, unmistakably, and so delighted that she was able to partake in the show tonight, because I just think, her accomplishments alone on the Irish music scene are just phenomenal. She's one of the hardest working performers, singers, and touring acts that I've ever come across or heard of. Herself and her band work very, very, very hard indeed to bring live shows to everybody, and I know they're going to hit the ground running from August onwards, and next year of course will be the best experience ever to see Louise and artists like her back on the road full time, because I know an awful lot of people around here are absolutely missing the live experience, and And of course, as she said herself, the whole meeting the audience stuff, people, that's what they love about Louise, is going to her gigs and you get to meet her. It's not a case of, oh, she's gone, she's in the green room or she's whatever, and she's gone out the back on the limousine. No, she's there. She'll come and say hello. That's what people love about it. And so thank you so much, Louise Morrissey. Now I'm going to skip on because we had in Tuanua the music already. So now I know I have her here. I'm going to get straight into it. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, possibly my favorite female singer from the rock/pop scene of all time, not just in Ireland but all over the world. Put your hands together for the one and only Leslie Dowdall. Leslie, are we okay now? Can you hear me? Have you got me there, Leslie? You're freezing a little bit. We have you. You're okay. Yeah, you're okay. We're kind of freezing a little bit, so don't worry. Don't panic. We have you. That's the main thing.
Me?
Yep, we can hear you now. Yep, we can hear you now. It's great to have you on the show tonight, and I know that you've told me earlier on that above in the hills and dales of Glenmalure, that the internet is absolutely unpredictable and can be up and down and diabolical at times. So don't worry if you're freezing a little bit and starting to stop. Okay, we'll keep it going. Okay. Mundy says that Leslie Dowdall is in the house, and I think he couldn't have put it better. That's exactly what I was thinking, in the house. Leslie, I'm not going to be behind the door and saying this as a teenage guy. I had a huge crush on you when you were in Tuanua, and I think many guys of my age group at that point did. Do you remember those days with fondness, and what's your one or two of your favorite memories from those heady days in, let's say, the late 80s? Let's have a talk about that. Have you got me there, Leslie? Do you know what we're going to do now? I'm going to give you a chance, Leslie, maybe to move around. Yeah, I know. I can hear you. You're kind of there going, this feckin' internet. I know it happens up and down. Move around maybe a little bit and see. You never know. We could get lucky. I know. Yay, there she is now. So sometimes you just have to move around a little bit. We're all, by the way, everybody can see you and they're absolutely thrilled that you're here. That's the main thing. So don't worry. You don't even have to talk, and people are absolutely going off their minds with excitement. So that'll tell you. But see if you can move around a little bit there, and sometimes we might get the gremlins might ascend off of your internet there for a few minutes. Let's see what happens. Any luck? Tell you what we're going to do now, lads, because this happens sometimes live. So what I'm going to do, Leslie, is I'm going to take you off the screen and put you back on and see what happens. And don't worry. Do not worry, people. Do not adjust your sets. It is Leslie Dowdall. She is here. And we're going to try it one more time and see what happens. Now, Leslie, let's see what happens. Let's see. Can you hear me now? Right. Do you know what I'm going to do, lads? What we'll do is we'll keep Leslie, stay with me, please. It's only 20 to 12, so stick with me, because I'm going to keep moving, and I'm going to go to my next guest, because I know you're there. I hope, Leslie, please don't go to bed. Stay with us, okay? Because we're looking forward to this interview, okay? Stick it out. I'm going to ask her a favor. I'm going to say, go into the next room or out on the porch or somewhere. Just try something different, and we'll see. We might get lucky. We might just get the connection, because I really think this is going to work. It's going to work. And I always believe we can overcome the gremlins at all points. But without further ado, I'm going to move on anyway, because we kind of ran behind time a little bit, and I don't want to delay anybody either. So I'm going to go straight over to what I think, and she'll correct me if I'm wrong, Nevada in the United States, to my next guest, which is Caitlin Gemma. Now, guys, you gotta check this lady out, because to me tonight we've had such a stellar lineup, and this girl is what I would say our newcomer to the show tonight. I've picked her because basically I literally found her online, and sometimes I just look at stuff online all the time, and I just found her and completely and utterly fell in love with her vocal and her music and everything that she does. So I'm going to play this really quickly. This is herself with her buddies, the Rainbow Girls. Rainbow Girls, and it's their own song. I think she'll correct me if I'm wrong. Called "Counting on You." I want you to have a quick look at this. It's really, really cool. I love the vibe.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all noticed, but we got a show coming up next week. It's on the 23rd, and we have some friends that are going to be playing with us, and we decided to absorb them into our pod early.
We got
our
some
tests. Oh yeah, baby.
Yeah, they went real far up there.
But
Caitlin, Gemma, you want to come up?
New friends.
You guys ready to play Counting on You?
Yeah.
You about friendship.
It is about friendship. Here we go. A 1, 2, 3, and oh, my dear, you know everything has changed around here, but I've never feared you've been there for me since the very first day. So you come to remind me that it all happens for one reason over another. I found a friend in you that I get to find in anybody else when I look into your eyes. I know it will be alright, my baby is down for the ride. I can always count on your love. When I needed you, oh, you hold me through. I can always count on your love. When I needed you, oh, you hold me through. I can always count on your love. Oh, sweet one, what I held together is all come undone. Like the sun can make a rainbow on a rainy day. It is you who reminds me that time is the ultimate healer. Yes, and I found a friend in you that I need to find in anybody else. When I look into your eyes, I know it will be alright. My baby is down for the ride. I can always count on your love. When I needed you, oh, you hold me through. I can always count on your love. When I needed you, oh, you hold me through. I can always count on your love. All right.
Wow.
Coming out with that.
I just love the fun, everything that she does. And that's just an example, guys. Counting on You with Rainbow Girls. I just love it. So without further ado, from the United States, can we please welcome Caitlin Gemma? Caitlin is there, I hope. 1 second, just check. We're having all the gremlins are hitting us tonight. Sorry, guys, I got to move around a little bit of stuff. 1 second, and there she is, of course. Just 1 second. Hi. Oh, welcome. Caitlin Gemma. Have I got that right?
That is right.
We've got to get straight into that straight away, okay? But before we do, tell me a little bit about Rainbow Girls. What is happening there? How did that happen? You guys have fun. You guys had a lot of fun.
Yeah. So we both live in Sonoma County, California. So that's north of the Bay Area.
Yeah.
And we've been friends for many years, and I always invite them to be on my records because they're just the best harmony singers I know. And yeah, so
Amazing
that was a
harmonies.
song
Yeah.
that they did on my record that's coming out this September. So
Brilliant. Tell us about that record that is coming out this September.
it's called True Meaning.
True Meaning.
And
I love the title. I love the title.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's just about, stuff like existential crisis and finding yourself and
Yeah.
things
Speaking
we
of
can relate to.
Yeah, speaking of finding yourself, okay, because I was doing a little bit of reading up on you during the week, and you basically you took off on a bit of a desert run, and I suspect that this is where a lot of the inspiration for the album came from. But you kind of took off on a little bit of a desert run and found yourself sort of in a carnival atmosphere at some point, Mardi Gras sort of atmosphere. Tell us a little bit about that journey. Was this pre-album? Was this the inspiration was happening before you wrote the song?
Yeah, so I went through a long-term breakup, and my way of coping with that was to move into my minivan and travel around the US and play shows. So I lived in my minivan, and I traveled all the way from the West Coast up to the East Coast across the whole United States. And my favorite parts of the drive were definitely driving through Texas, which most people don't like doing because it takes forever. But there's something really peaceful about being on a highway that is just desert forever.
Yeah,
There's something,
I like the sound of that. I like the sound of that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that inspired a lot of the record, that trip, and just the solo journey and all the ups and downs of being
Life in general.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because it is kind of the meaning of life, as Monty Python once put it. What is the meaning of life? Sometimes we do kind of ponder what the hell is going on here on this big rock that we're all running around on. What's the point? And of course, nothing like, and no disrespect, but like breaking up with somebody has the most powerful divine inspiration for writing music, I think, in my experience anyway. One of my best songs that I've written myself usually are due to breakups.
I agree.
That's right, isn't it? That's right, isn't it? Yeah, because it's when you feel like you're rawest. I think it's when you're at your rawest and you're most honest. But I'm looking forward to hearing this album in its entirety, coming out in September or August. Is it September?
September 17th. And the first single from the new record comes out in 2 weeks from today.
Excellent. Brilliant. I'm looking forward to this. And what is that called? What's the single called?
It's called One Little Feeling.
I like it. And this is going to be on all the usual platforms, iTunes, Spotify, all that. Okay, brilliant. And if people want to find Caitlin Gemma, I have found you, of course, really easy on Facebook and YouTube and all those. Is there somewhere you prefer people to go and find you? What's your favorite platform?
I think if you just go to my website, CaitlinGemma.com, then you can pick your favorite place to listen to music. I know there's so many different options, so there's all the links are there. So
and you've done some really cool cover versions as well, which I quite enjoy.
Thank you.
I do. I like it. You had a video, and now my brain has gone to blank as per usual, but I love it. You're in this wonderfully colorful dress, and you're dancing.
Oh yeah. That's Walking on a Dream.
Walking on a Dream. For the thrill of it. That's beautiful. I got to tell you something. That version and that video is better than the original, and I mean that.
Oh well, thank you so much.
I've looked at it a couple of times. I just love it. It's just very mesmerizing to watch. You're really in a moment there. The way you're dressed, the way you're moving. It's a very well made video, I have to say. It's.
You know what's funny is that video was made on my friend's iPhone.
No way.
Yes, and she edited it on her iPhone.
Kudos to your friend, and we should definitely give her a mention because I think she's got a job to play with.
Yes, and her name is Shlee. Yeah,
Shlee. Well done. What a video! Oh my God, really well put together.
Thank you. Yeah.
you know, you're as I said tonight. I don't know if you realize or know yourself. Said tonight we've got some of the biggest musical sort of heavyweight stars in Ireland on the show tonight. So you're in really good company tonight, and that's why I picked you, because I was watching lots of stuff online as I do, but your stuff immediately resonated with me because you're very organic and you're very real, and your vocal is just real, which is what I like the most. I am looking forward to hearing the new album. I really am. I don't know if I should trouble you to do a live song or not. Would that be a big ask?
I would love to.
Really? Okay.
Yes,
all right.
I would be honored.
What are we going to get? What are we going to be treated to this evening?
I would like to play you the single that's coming out in 2 weeks from today.
That sounds like a plan to me.
I forgot to tell you that I've actually played in Ireland.
Where and when? And actually, before
Sneem.
you play, where?
I played in Sneem.
Sneem in County Kerry. You have
That's
played.
right.
My God. Well, you know, that's a bit like your drive through Texas. Most people come to Ireland and play in Dublin. You come to Ireland and go the whole way down to Sneem in Kerry.
Yep.
How the hell did that happen? How did you end up?
I was on a family trip, and I ended up playing in this pub in Sneem, and had the time of my life. And then they invited me back the next night, and
brilliant.
Then I got to play 2 shows. Yeah,
that's great. Tell me this as well before you play, because I meant to ask you this actually too. Obviously, you know, Caitlin Gemma. Now that's pretty much very, very sort of close to these shores. Those kind of with names like that. Or obviously, is an Irish, English, sort of Welsh, Scottish, something going on there. Is it?
Yeah.
Is there some Irish there?
Yeah, I am Irish, English, and German.
Nice.
So yeah,
brilliant. So you got a great mix there.
I
Great.
feel at home tonight.
Are you going to come back to Ireland when everything sort of lifts?
Oh my gosh, I would love to. I love Ireland. I love it.
Brilliant. Well, I look forward to that. Possibly catching some Caitlin Gemma gigs here in Ireland. That would be awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I have a feeling, right, and I'm going to say this, and it's the last thing I'm going to say, because I'm a little bit excited. I love getting new guests on who nobody knows here, and I don't really know, but I know you're good. I have to say this to you. I think, and this is just my gut feeling here, I think you're breaking. Now, in Ireland, I'm sure it means the same as America. It means you're a breaking artist. I think we're going to see a lot more of you. I do, and I genuinely mean that. I think we're going to see a lot more of Caitlin Gemma in the next couple of years. And I'll eat my shorts if that doesn't happen. I mean it.
Well, thank you. That means a lot. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming on to Friday Night Live tonight. And this is your new single called
One Little Feeling.
Let's take it away, sister. Go for it.
So we're all going to get in the minivan together. Driving through Texas. Crying while driving. Take one earphone off. I've been looking out for something I don't yet understand, but I'll know when I feel a new lover, old friend. Some ways familiar, man. Some in the unknown. I never had a plan for going, baby. I just had to go. And then today, driving west from Austin, I got a long way on my own, being heartbroken and exhausted. Somewhere too, I found alive and free. I wanna feel that feeling that brings me to my knees. Some years pass easy, but this one painted me blue. When you walk further from something, you get closer to something too. So tell me what I ought to do to have one little feeling that feels like the truth.
Now one little feeling thinks, oh, one little feeling that will bring me to my knees. One little feeling, oh, one little feeling please, oh, one little feeling that will bring me to my
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
Oh my gee whiz. I'll tell you something now. I'm going to be honest with you. Caitlin, I don't use this word. Well, I have used this word a few times since I started doing this show, but not that often. My friend Catrice Greer, who organizes the Poetry Corner, which is on last tonight, she's near Washington in the States, and we've become great friends over the last 10 to 11 weeks. And I used this word twice before, but once when Catrice read some poetry on the show, and I told her, I think I've just evaporated. And I can tell you straight, that was another one of those experiences. She knows what I'm talking about. That was absolute ear candy. You have an
Oh,
amazing vocal, and I mean it. It's just,
thank
it's the
you.
natural ability. That's what I love. It's just natural. It just oozes out. There's no need to force anything. So I am very glad that you made it tonight. I know you're busy. I know you got things to do, but I'm glad you made it. And I think we're going to be hearing an awful lot more about you in the near future. I hope. That's my thing. I'm going to tell people about you here in Ireland for sure.
Yay.
Yeah,
Thank you so
absolutely.
much.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
I can't
And
wait to
listen,
come back to Ireland.
please do. I am in the deep
Yes.
southwest. We are in the deep southwest here in Limerick, so we're not a million miles away from. Well, we're not near Sneem, but we're not a million miles away from it. So if you happen to be passing by in that pickup truck or the van or whatever you're in, the old tour bus, pull on in here. We're on a farm here, so you'll have loads of room to pull up the
Oh
front
my
and
goodness.
have a bit of fun.
Thank you.
Well, listen, it's great to meet you. Great to meet you. Absolutely great, Caitlin. Mind yourself, and best of luck with the new single and the new album and all things coming. And say
Thank
hello
you.
to the Rainbow Girls as well for us as well. Love everything they do.
Yay. All
Okay.
right. Thank you.
Mind yourself. Bye bye.
Bye.
So, ladies and gentlemen, most possibly my favorite new coming act at the minute that I've seen in the States online is Caitlin Gemma. I don't know why. I like natural vocal, and I like natural ability, and that's what she has. Lots of it. I think we can head straight back up to Glen Malure in Wicklow. I'm going to have another go at this because I'm not giving up. And here we go. Let's see if we can get Miss Leslie Dowdle online. Leslie, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, okay. I'm going to settle for audio right now because I don't care about the picture yet. Okay, you're there. You can hear me, and that's the main thing. So, welcome to Friday Night Live.
Thank you very much, David. Thank you for putting up with this. I have actually crawled over a ditch and come into a neighbor's house who's not here, my friend Heidi. And
Okay.
I'm trying to see if her internet works better. This is how bad it is.
Don't worry. Do you know what? We can hear you, and that is really the main thing. That is the main thing because there's a lot of people here. Really, we're looking forward to hearing from you tonight. And we did see you anyway. We've got a couple of lovely stills of you coming in and out there, so don't worry about it. How is life in Glen Malure in County Wicklow?
Well, sure, it's great because I live in a lovely valley, and as you know, COVID has been terrible for everybody, but we've had a lovely empty forest and national park in Glendalough to walk around when there's nobody here, and it's fantastic.
Beautiful. Absolutely smashing. Lovely part of the world and the country. One of my favorite places to go through when I get time. I'm going to go back and hopefully we'll be able to hear each other. I'm going to go through a few bits that I really wanted to ask you about. The
Yes.
song that I played, the video leading in, all I want, as I called the song, all I wanted was someone to believe in. That's what I don't know if that's the correct term, but that's what I always called it myself. But those days, right? Those days in Tuanua.
Yes.
You've heard me say this twice already tonight that as a teenage fella, young fella now, you were fairly up there in the top of the list now. Most of my friends, when it came to the absolute stunning front woman within Tuanua. And I just loved everything you did sound wise. You always dressed well and looked well. You kind of reminded me a bit of like the Irish Stevie Nicks. Would that be a fair thing to say? Would you be influenced by her?
Well, I'll take that. That's pretty good. Thank you. Yeah, I'll take
Would
that.
you
Yeah.
would you have been
She's a big
influenced by
hero
her?
of mine, Stevie Nicks. Yeah.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
yeah. I thought that
Yes,
myself.
definitely. Yeah, I loved Fleetwood Mac. Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about the
Yeah.
the day
Love
the
Stevie
day
Nicks and I love Fleetwood Mac. Yeah.
the day in Croke Park. That Simple Minds and you guys were in Croke Park. I saw a post during the week about it, and it looked just amazing. The photographs and the memories.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about that day. That must have been something else.
Well, it's very funny that you should say that because I didn't even remember until the lovely violin player Angela DeBurka put it up the other day, and I was going, "Oh God, yeah, I forgot about that one." Yeah, it was an amazing day, and yeah, amazing, and
Yeah.
nothing to
It
say.
looked.
I'd forgotten about it. That's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah.
As you get older, like I
Listen. Here, we've
take
got you
it
back.
back.
We've
But
got
Simple
you.
Minds were an amazing band.
We've got your picture now, which is even better now. This is great. Delighted you were able to get in. Simple Minds, what a band, yeah. But in Tuanua, what a band. And those heady days must have been something just mesmerizingly wonderful to be a part of. Can you remember when it all clicked for in Tuanua? What was the point when things clicked for you guys?
Yeah, I think we were, it's funny as you get older, you just kind of think, oh, yeah, did we do that? Yeah, but I mean, we kind of took it in our stride and it was like an amazing time. And I think we had a great connection with U2, kind of took us under their wing as everyone in Ireland wants to be under U2's wing. But they
Yes.
they took us on tour and they kind of told, Jim Kerr that we were a good band to be looked at. And so we got lots of big stadium gigs, which we kind of just in many ways took for granted, but I mean they were amazing. Looking
Yeah.
back on it now, yeah.
Yeah.
40 years later,
what
but they were,
great
we
people.
just
Yeah.
sorry, terrible line.
You're okay. What great people? No, you're grand. Don't worry about it. What great bands to be involved with, like U2, Simple Minds, all of them. But listen, jumping on because I know we have a bad line, but we'll get through this. Don't worry.
Yes,
Moving on to your solo stuff, and
we
when
can
you
come
did
back.
actually,
I don't mind. I'll come back next week. Yeah,
please do. I mean that. I genuinely, I mean
yeah.
that. Okay,
I'd
and
be more than
you are
happy
coming back.
if I can get a
I am
good
going.
line
Yeah,
to
we're going to get you a
yeah.
good line. We're going to get you and your neighbour are going to get together, or a few of your neighbours, and we'll make sure we're going to deliver a mast up to Glenmalure and make sure that it's right outside Leslie Dowden's house. Okay, so don't worry. But listen, do you know what we'll do? Yeah, that's what we'll do. Would you come on next week? Would you come back on?
Yes,
Okay, deal. That is a
absolutely.
deal.
Love
Absolute
to.
deal. And I, do you know what? I'm going to talk to you during the week, and we'll sort out all that stuff, and we'll organise flying up an antenna or something into the
Yes,
Wicklow Mountains. I think that would be the best thing to do. Well, do you know what we'll do? We won't get into too much. Because I know it's very difficult for you and me and everybody, but more so for you.
no,
And I like everybody to enjoy themselves. I still will say this before we finish. I can't thank you enough for being part of tonight, because I promised people a really stellar lineup of guests, and you've all delivered by just turning up, and that has made my night for me.
well, thank you very much, Dave, for putting up the platform. I'm delighted that you're supporting Irish music, and it's wonderful that what you do. I mean that
Well,
genuinely.
that is, yeah,
As
that's
we've
my
all had
main.
a really hard year. It's been really, yeah.
Yeah, it's been an awful year. It's been an awful year, but I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad everyone
Sorry,
made
the
it
line's
tonight.
gone. But yeah, no,
The line is back.
yeah, sorry that I live in the boondocks, Dave, but I do. I told you we
Yeah.
had internet at the speed of loneliness.
No, that's okay. Well, listen, without further ado, I'm going to bid you adieu tonight only, but I'm telling you, and I promise you, we will work on this during the week, and we will have you back next week for sure. That is a deal breaker, because I really want to talk to you a little bit more in depth about stuff. Okay, so I'm going to let you go and have a glass of wine and relax, and I'm going to go to my poetry corner. Thank you, Leslie Dowdle, so much.
Thank you very much.
And we'll see you next week. Okay. It's one of those things that happens, and I know exactly where Leslie's coming from. We try, and I certainly was not giving up there, because I just love everything about Leslie Dowdle. I love her music. I love everything about her, and I just didn't want to give up there. So I apologize about the bad line, and so does she. But that's life. That is life. But we're going to move on. We're going to move on anyway, because it is past the stroke of midnight, and every week we do a Poets Corner or Poetry Corner. Somewhere in between there, we call it. And the last couple of weeks, we've had some really good poets on, and I'm really enjoying it. Spoken word performance / poetry. And this week, I have a very, very interesting guest through my curator of this segment, Catrice Greer, who you know Catrice because she's been on many times with me now. And she got the whole ball rolling with this segment. And I've kind of fallen in love with it now, because it's something I don't know much about, and I'm learning a little bit more about it every week. So I'm going to wrap up tonight's show with Generalissimo, as he's referred to, and he'll tell you there's a couple of different pronunciations of that, but also we'll bring him on screen. He'll tell us all about it. Generalissimo, is that a fair statement?
Yeah, that would be fine. My name is Brian Franco.
Brian Franco, of course, and
I'm from in the United States.
United States. You're our second stateside guest on tonight, Brian, and it's a pleasure to have you. Absolute pleasure to have you. I am a total newbie to spoken word and poetry. I know what it is, but I don't know much about it. It's Catrice, my friend, who you know quite well too, who got involved with me and said we'd set up this segment. And I'm loving it every week. I'm absolutely loving it. Before we get into the piece that you're going to do, tell us a little bit about where you are and what's happening there.
Well, I live in Brunswick, Maine. Which is right on the East Coast. It's the first place you're going to get to when you're crossing the Atlantic Ocean. It literally is.
Okay.
It's right at the very top of the United States. And it's a really wonderful place to live. A lot of beautiful nature, great seafood, great food in general. And I really love it. We're still coming out of the pandemic here. So everything's starting to loosen up. We don't have to wear masks everywhere.
Okay.
But basically, I spent most of the pandemic inside, of course. And what it's done for me is, with all this, with Zoom and the Zoom poetry scene, not just domestically but internationally, I've really been able to expand what I'm doing with my poetry.
Yeah.
I was in 2014. I was on a slam team. Out of Portland, Maine, that went to the National Poetry Slam in Oakland, Maine, and that was a really wonderful experience. And I was the only man on a team with 4 other women, and so it was with 4 women, not other women.
Awesome.
And it was an absolutely spectacular experience, And when you go to a national event like that, it's really a whole different ball of wax when you get on a stage.
I can imagine. I can only imagine. Yeah, I can only imagine. How did you find yourself getting involved in? And before I go any further, I want to ask you: do you consider yourself a poet and a spoken word performer, or is there a difference between the two?
I'm going to be honest. Well, some people, I think, want to say they're either or, but I think everyone is. Once you get on a stage and you get used to it, you become a spoken word performer. Once you open your mouth and read in front of other people, even if you're sitting around in chairs, you're doing spoken word. When you speak your words, it's spoken word. How did I get into it? Well, I didn't know until I was like in my late 20s, and I was living in New York City at the time, and I had gone through a very severe. It was my first I'm chemically depressed, but I had my very first episode, and I kind of had stayed in my apartment for about 2 weeks. And so the first time I came out of the apartment, I went to my favorite coffee house, this wonderful place across from the Flatiron Building. And so I get my drink, my coffee drink, and I have a newspaper, so I don't want to be bothered by anyone. I sit down on this couch. Then all of a sudden, somebody walks up on the stage at the back of the room, and they start talking about people reading poetry. And I was thinking, I didn't know I liked poetry. So I was thinking I should get up and leave now. And then people got on the stage, and I loved it. I was like enthralled. And then there was this wonderful troupe of slam poets, female slam poets, that was the feature, and I was even more enthralled. And then on my way home, all of a sudden, all this poetry started spilling out of my brain. I had to get home really fast. I was on I was writing till like 4 a.m, and then I started going to some open mics. But about 8 months after that, I had to move back to Alabama for personal reasons. Yeah. And Alabama was a bit of a poetry desert. And so it took me another 5 years when I moved to Maine, which has an amazing poetry scene.
Okay. That's amazing. That's amazing. How immediate and sudden it all just kicked off for you. That's, wow. I love it. I love it. I'm intrigued by that, because I suppose poetry is very closely related to lyric writing as well. As songwriters, we are quite close to poets, and in our kind of ways of doing things, because I've often walked home myself and an entire song literally spilled out of my brain, and I had to run home and get it down, write it down, and try to even record it somehow. So I can get that, man. I understand it totally, and I'm glad you gave me that insight into it, because I'm learning every week. I'm learning something new about it. Obviously, you're writing a lot now. You must be writing consistently.
I think the amount of poetry that I've written in the last year, I can say so much. I've been able to do a lot of workshops online. It's just, and I'm being influenced by people all over the world.
Brilliant.
So it's taking the breadth of the type of poetry I'm doing, the subject matters, and the form of the poetry that I'm doing, to a whole wider thing. And I'm really happy I'm starting to get published. And I never tried to get published over the past 25 years. And now, I've decided to start sending things in, and, it's really wonderful. And I actually am going to be published in an Irish anthology. So,
that's wonderful news. That's wonderful news. Wow. Have you been to Ireland?
I have not, but I am dying to go. I mean, I am enthralled by all these Irish poets at some of these Irish readings that I've been going to. So
it's a real destination here to come to when it comes to sort of the beginnings of poetry, and of course some of the greats that we have had here. But I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will make it here. And I'm hearing good things about you, Brian. Really good things about you from not just Catrice, but I've been looking at some of the stuff and listening to some of it. It's really, really good. What are you planning on doing for us tonight?
I'm going to do a piece. I better see if I can find it here.
Yeah.
It's called A Random Act. And awesome. I want to say it mentions something called Trader Joe's, which is a small grocery store. And I think you have Aldi in Ireland, so it would be something similar to an Aldi, a smaller grocery store that has limited things, but you always have really wonderful things, and it has sort of a cult following. So this is called A Random Act.
In your own time, Generalissimo Brian Franco. Take it away, buddy.
Gracias. A Random Act. It was a cold, drizzly December Maine afternoon. Not cold enough for snow. Not a strong enough rain to call it real rain. It had snowed an inch or 3 that morning. Not enough to take out a shovel. Easy enough to drive through. The type of snow that gets melted away by a couple or 4 hours of rain. I drove the 45-minute weekly road trip to wait in line about 15 minutes to enter Trader Joe's and exited with 2 bags. I rolled my cart 2 parking lot aisles over to the cart receptacle, and while walking back to my car, I saw a woman holding several bouquets of flowers, carefully placing cellophane wrapped packages, stemming down under windshield wipers. I asked her what she was doing. She said that on a day like today, she thought people wouldn't mind getting flowers from a stranger. She extended her right arm toward me and offered me a bouquet. I hesitated to accept, but accepted. I suddenly felt flattered and thanked her. She smiled at me and responded, "Just a random act of kindness." I got in my car and inspected the carnations and chrysanthemums that looked like they were painted with melted Skittles. I began to giggle. I felt a few warm tears roll down my cheek. I reached around to the pocket in the back of my seat to grab a roll of paper towels, tear one off to use as a Kleenex. I wiped my tears and blew my nose and started to laugh again. I heard my mother's spirit telling me that crying when happy is genetic. Suddenly, I could feel my father's arm stretched across my shoulders, giving me a gentle pat and squeeze. My Uncle Sam was offering me a slice of gooseberry pie for breakfast and a shot of after-dinner aquavit. My Aunt Lila was explaining to me that Velveeta was the secret to a good pot of cheese grits. I think she would have approved of my version with Asiago cheese, coconut milk, curry leaf, lime zest, and white pepper. My Aunt Charlotte was tightly hugging me, acknowledging that her secret depression wasn't something that I had to keep secret. My Uncle Ralph offered me an ice-cold Fresca and told me he was no longer afraid to converse with his teenage nephew he thought might be gay. My friend of over 21 years, Beth, wasn't telling me she had decided to discontinue chemotherapy, but instead was making her famous potato soup, while her giant yellow lab, Ebenezer, was asking me to rub his belly. This random act of kindness flooded my heart with sunshine. The sun was refusing me that cold, drizzly December Maine afternoon. This random act of kindness allowed me to feel a little less pandemic isolation sad, a little less afraid, and a little less alone. Thank you very much.
Wow. Nice story. I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. You're a man who is very visual, and you notice everything around you. Would that be a fair thing to say? You strike me as somebody who studies everything around you. You're aware of things.
Very detail oriented, yes. And I think that in poetry, sometimes the most mundane things can actually become really beautiful to hear talked about. Sometimes,
That's a very interesting point, Brian. Yeah, you're right. We skip and miss so many things, don't we? We don't actually see a lot of the things that are happening. We take them for granted, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, and your attention to detail, I love it. I love it in that piece. Every detail. That's the beauty is in the detail. I think that's what we do. Even writing songs, I think that's what it's about, isn't it? It's the attention to it. Beautiful piece. Thank you so much. That was amazing. Your voice as well. You've got a lovely, relaxing tone to your voice as well. It delivers beautifully. So thank you so much for taking time out to be with us tonight.
Well, I appreciate your allowing me to come on, and of course, Patrice is one of the most amazing people around, and I'm glad she asked me.
I'm learning that every time I meet her, and the more I get to know her, I believe that more and more and more. She's quite an amazing person, as all of you are, for coming on here as well. What is happening next for Generalissimo Brian Franco? What's happening next?
Well, actually, on the 22nd of this month, I'm going to be featuring at a Zoom open mic in Portland, Maine, called Port Veritas. And they do have a Facebook page, and you can look up the event page on their Facebook page. Okay. And that's on the 22nd at 8 p.m. Eastern time, which would be, I want to say, are you later? It's about 1 a.m. your time.
1 a.m. ish, yeah.
And then also on the 24th of July, I'm going to be doing facilitating my first workshop. It's going to be called Breaking Rules and Creating New Poetic Forms. It's with an organization out of El Paso called the Tumblewords Project. That's a 25-year-old organization that's been doing workshops every Saturday. And it's run by a woman named Donna Snyder. And if you look up Tumblewords Projects, you can, you can go every single Saturday to one of their workshops for free on Zoom. And you'll find that you'll just be writing things from each different facilitator, because everyone brings a little bit of their lives into this, and it's wonderful.
I just think that's amazing. I think that's what it's all about. The word that always springs to mind with me every time I think of any art form is collaboration is key, and everybody brings something to the table. I think that's the best part. Generalissimo, Brian Franco, thank you so much. I'm so happy to be able to put your face to the name now, and I feel as though we kind of know each other better now. Thank you so much for taking time to be with us tonight. Lots of people are really enjoying the Poets Corner because it's something new. We're bringing it to the fore a little bit more. I think it's important. It's very important. I wish you all the best with your workshop and future projects. I'm sure I'm going to hear a lot more about you. I'm sure of that. So do keep in touch, and we will surely cross paths again at some stage.
Thank you very much. I just want to say the musicians that I heard tonight were so spectacular, and especially the woman from Ireland, and I'm not placing her name right now.
Louise, was it?
Oh my God, the country singer. Oh my God, she's
she's amazing.
She's your heart out with her voice, doesn't she?
Yeah. We've been
from Nevada was a great discovery too. I think she's.
Yeah, I think. I do. I believe she's going to be. I think she's going to be big. I think Caitlin Gemma. Look out for her. I really do think she's going to be big. There's been a couple of acts that I've had on the show now over the past 11 weeks from the States, actually, who I believe are going to go on and are already going on to do big things. So I kind of like it's my guilty pleasure to see if I can find somebody before that happens, just for fun. And I'm going with my gut on it, but who knows? Maybe we'll see.
I might email you a few names that you might want on. So.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, of course. The door is always open here, always open. But maybe we will. We're going to keep an eye out for Generalissimo Brian Franco in Ireland. I'm looking forward to that. I hope you get here next year, buddy. That would be amazing.
Thank you very much.
Take care, mind yourself, and have a nice evening. And we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So that was our Poets Corner for this week that wraps up the show every week, and I love it. And special thanks, of course, to Catrice Greer, my good friend, who has facilitated spoken word artists, our poets, all joining us for the month of June, right up to the end of month of June. And then we're going to kind of have a look and see what's happening then next month with Friday Night Live and see how it's going, because we are emerging from lockdown. So things are ever changing all the time. And we're trying to see, what's the future? What way are we going to maneuver this? What are we going to do with this show? But I think so far, so good. I think this is a pretty bumper setup tonight, I have to say, with all the guests that joined me. I can't thank them all enough. Of course, Monday, my special guest tonight, we overcame all the gremlins in the beginning with things not working and stuff like that, and he came on air and did a wonderful interview and great music as always. Colin Devlin, what can I say? What more can I say? Colin, just a fabulous singer and guitar player, and of course the Devlins bringing a new record out as well, which I can't wait for. Leslie Dowdle. Leslie, the Gremlins tried to get us down, but they did not. We made a little conversation, and apologies for the bad line there tonight, and we will get her back on next week. Maybe we'll do a little sort of an installation up in Wicklow. We'll see if we can send something up for her, something like that, and we'll make sure that she's got, I'm sure she will, between herself and the neighbours, they'll organise some. We have to start a campaign to bring back Leslie Dowdle to Friday Night Live. That's my campaign for this week, and it's going to happen. And of course, then what I think is an absolute gem of a discovery, in my opinion, from Ireland to the States, is Caitlin Gemma. I really think she's going to be something to watch, and you're going to see a lot more of her. I think she's going to break through. I really do, and everything she does is wonderful. So go check her out, Caitlin Gemma, online. I'll stick up a video or two of hers on the Friday Night Live group, and you can have a look. And of course, Generalissimo, Brian Franco, our poet this week. Thank you so much for joining us and giving us your words of wisdom, Brian. What attention to detail, lads! What a night. It's been a show. I won't lie. It's been a show that has been underneath a little bit of a gremlin internet cloud from the beginning. It's been strange. Even our sound checks earlier on, we were having bits of issues and stuff with different lines and things like that. It happens. Some weeks it just happens, but we get through it, and we make sure and bring you the show every week. That's my job, and that's what I love doing, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I really, really, really enjoyed the show, and I can tell you without fear of contradiction that next week I have a guest that just when you think it can't get any better, I have a guest next week that is going to absolutely blow your socks off. I can tell you that now, okay? And yeah, I don't want to say too much because when I get excited about guests coming up, I tend to give away clues, and I don't want to do that too much. So this guest, we'll just say this guest next week so far, and other developments that are happening, but this guest that I know is coming is definitely going to blow my socks off and yours. So if you love music and you're into it and you like behind the scenes stuff and all that kind of stuff, and you want to hear from one of the biggest people in the biz, in my opinion, tune in next week and check out that interview. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to leave you with, of course, a shameless plug, as I do every week. One of my own songs. Why not? This is, of course, Joe You Had to Fly, which I recorded outside last year during lockdown 1. I know you've seen this video on YouTube, maybe, perhaps, but if you haven't, this is Joe You Had to Fly. You know what the song is about if you know me. If you don't, check out my lives. I'll be going live tomorrow with the guitar. I'm going back doing Saturday nights just live. Just instead of Dave's radio, I'm actually going to go live on the guitar because I've really enjoyed it. And it's going to go to Instagram tomorrow night. So we're doing Facebook and Insta at the same time, 2 different devices. I had great fun last Saturday night doing it beneath the palm trees. So we might go back out there or somewhere around the house and do it if it's not raining. So tune in tomorrow night from around the same time. I'm hoping in around 10 p.m. Irish time. I'll be going live with the guitar, doing a couple of tunes, laid back, no cables, no amplifiers, no pedals, no gimmicks, just sitting down, playing songs and having a bit of crack. So good night and God bless from Friday Night Live, show number 11. And what a show it has been. I'm going to leave you with a bit of Joe You Had to Fly by yours truly. Thank you all so much for joining me, lads. Once again, thank you so much. I've had a ball tonight, I have to say. Take care and God bless.
Another place and time, we went with the flow. No fear, no fall, no crime. The spirit's lost in time. Sweet September night, there was me and you and Joe. We were running wild, tearing down the marquees and the lights, ripping up the audience divide. There was something about that night made me scream inside. The dream, it fell apart. We never said goodbye. There was something about that sky that made me question why. Joey had to fly. Now the fools and the renegades, they followed us through town. It was an army of disgrace, blind leading the blind. But we were young and high. There was something about that night that made me scream inside. The dream, it fell apart. We never said goodbye. Something about that sky made me question why. Whoa, whoa. There was something about that night that made me scream inside. The dream, it fell apart. We never said goodbye. Something about that sky made me question why. Joey had to fly. I'll see you there. I'll see you there, yeah, yeah. I'll see you there. I'll see